विपरीतमतिप्रबोधान् वादान् नरस्य कृतवान् पुविदत्ववादम् सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ईशावास उपनिषदः केनोपनिषदः तलवकार उपनिषदः शान्तिपाठः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः श्रोत्रम् मतौ बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणमेस्तु तदात्मनि निरते या उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Welcome friends. We have seen the very important aspect of the narrative, which is normally the interesting part of any Upanishad or any Puranas or Smritis, because this narratives always, gives a way for us to sort of link with ourselves, our experience with that of whatever is being said in the Upanishads. And in this Upanishad, first two kandas were in poetry of Trishtupchand. They have given the entire mantras. The third kanda, they have taken the narrative mainly because the Kenopanishad is a Upanishad about the absolute, the Brahman, what we are talking about. Absolute is a concept which we will have to imagine, understand by only going through the scriptures and having a guru. Through him, whatever we could learn, and then we will have to inculcate, get the intuition in our mind. That is how this absolute can be understood. It is easier said than done. So though it has been said, very often people do take it and then they try to sort of understand whatever is being said. But then to understand further, to do the Shravana, Manana and Nitidhyasana, that is constant reflection, as well as to relate our experience to that of whatever has been expounded in the Upanishad, that is a very, very sort of a stimulus, very disciplined task. That task, is a very rigorous task. It cannot be done, sort of a simpler way, because it has got its own disciplines, and as well as you will have to go through that. Because very often what happens, once it happens, once we are in the discussion and once we get back to the normal routine, we get disconnected to the whatever we have tried to absorb during this particular exposition. Then we are getting back into the world, and we have got to do, because you cannot leave whatever is being outside the outside. You will have to do. You have got your duties to perform. Kurvate karmani tatprite sajjanaha, as we said. Karmanyeva adhikarastu ma paleshu kadachana. You have got to do the karma. There is whatever you may be having a jnana, you have everything bhakti and all, you have got to do the karma. There is no two opinions about it. You cannot simply be idling and say, I can't do the karma. We will have to do that. So when we do that, what is that, finally that will enable us to get this knowledge, to have a practical approach in our life. We can't only see, because that when Swamiji was telling the other day, he was conducting Upanishad seminars, expositions. He is a very, very learned, extremely sort of highly knowledgeable Swamiji. He is in 80s now. He lives in Bombay, near Bombay in Lonavala and all. He said, some of the people who were listening to him in Bombay and all, they came and they were also coming to other places to listen. So when one lady came and told him, look, I have been listening to your Upanishad and I have also come here. He was wondering how come, even the people, he said he always respects people in the normal world. In sannyasa and other places, they have got no other things to do. They only have to go through the scriptures and sit in the ashrams and deal with the disciples and other things. No, they don't have anything else to do. Whereas people who are in the day-to-day life, when they say they have taken interest, he was totally startled. I think it's a great thing, because they are much better than us. He said, I respect all these people. In spite of all your commitments and your duties and your everyday affairs, you are still having a great effort to understand and learn and imbibe these Upanishadic thoughts. So then that lady next then opened out, Swami, it's okay. I come here mainly to sort of listen and enjoy your jokes, not Upanishad. What is this Brahman and all? Okay, Brahman, let him be there. Why do you disturb him? Let us talk, let us enjoy, let us be happy in this world. And you are telling so wonderful jokes, while explaining Upanishad. We enjoy your jokes, that's why I am coming. Then he understood. Look, Upanishad is Upanishad, and normal life is normal life, joke is joke. But it is not something, because in fact what the lady said is very correct. How do you imbibe, the concept of everyday life, because you will have to have, what is that, you will have to have finally, once the Upanishadic knowledge gives you, you will be fearless. Yes, fearless in the sense, whatever comes, you will never be afraid of it. Even if there is an income tax raid, assuming none of us are eligible for income tax raid, even if it happens, you will not be worried. Even anything else happen, something, which happens, that affects your mind, some known people, something happened to them that affects your mind. Elsewhere in the world that happens to him, you see in the TV news. The TV news are the worst culprits of the era. They give you all news, with their own masalas. They don't give the real news. They knew which is the TRP catching, which catches the eyeballs. That's what they are giving to us. In that, what happens? Already, our mind is not allowing us to go in the proper way. It is not in our control. That we have seen already. Keneshitam preshitam manaha. That already we have seen. So then why, because how we will have to get through this and all. See, this is where the simple concept comes. Because even you may have a jnana of Veda, Upanishad, everything and all. With jnana without bhakti is useless. But what is bhakti? That's what we'll have to say. In the normal day-to-day life when we are living, and we have got the bhakti component which will be enabling us to take us through this life. In Kali Yuga, they said, it is only the bhakti marga which is going to help us. Why in Kali Yuga you have got so many distractions and so many encounters you will have to face in the life, be it personal or professional. So that is how it comes. So in this narrative what we have seen, because we will be going through that. When it says, it is, you learn all those concepts. The eternal, non-eternal, the Brahman is eternal, Atman is eternal, rest of the things in the whole world is non-eternal, Nitya, Anitya, Nitya, Nityaya, because we have seen all those things. And all the Acharyas have expounded. Why they have expounded was, because when you are in this world, you don't get totally weaned away by the ways of the world. How it could be done. So in the Bhakti Marga, what you have to do is, because whatever you do, whatever you experience, do it, but add one more small component to that. That is, you add a component of God. God means, you can't say, you don't have to take abstract concept of God. All of us have got Kula Devam, we say, because this is my Kula Devam. And all of us do have Ishta Devata, our family Devata, because we are doing, the puja for that. And we do have a separate, type of worship for that. We do have a particular day in a year, we do that. This is specific to our family or the clan, around us, who have been following it and all. Once you take that, you add a component of that God to your everyday experience. You take it as my God. Whatever God, your Ishta Devata, you take it as my God. And add whatever experience is my God and my God's experience. You take it like that. Once you have that bhava, you make God a part of your life. Whatever you experience is part of your life. Whether you experience bad, whether you experience good, or whether you are in an extremely happy sort of a frame of mind, you are riding a flamboyant crest, or you are deep down in distress, every time you think the God is part of you. He is also undergoing the same experience, everything and all. What happens is, once you are having God as a part of it, whenever anything comes, good or bad, you submit to Him, because when I am experiencing, you are also experiencing, I am giving it to you. It is for you to sort out. You leave it at that and then you go about it. Once you have a total faith, once you have made Him as a part of your life, that is the wonderful thing. There is one small anecdote, the story which has been narrated by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and normally it is being said in the Kathamrita of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also. There is one bhikshu. He came to the house. He normally in those days, bhikshus, they come. Bhikshus or any sort of sannyasis, they come to the house. Bhiksha, they ask whatever. They don't expect anything. Whatever you give, they take it and they go off. Sometimes, they are going to a place where there is no place to stay. They will come to the house. Whoever is having a little place in their house, they will say, "Why don't you give me a corner? So I will have to stay for a night or two. Why can't I stay?" That is how it has happened. In our villages it has happened. Even here, because the current life also, we have had a lot of occasions like that. They come and ask for a small corner. So you give them a corner. They come and keep their things and they just stay there. And then after some time, can I stretch myself here a little more? So they also ask for that. So okay, after all, a person has to stay, so the sannyasi is moving from place to place, let him do that. The next day what he will do, once he says, he will take the bath and other things. Then he will say, I have got a salagrama or I have got a pratima of Gopala Krishna. I just want to keep it. I need one more corner. Can I take that? So once he gives it, he gives you will give, after all, it is a salagrama, he has to do the puja. It's a Gopala Krishna Pratima. See, he has to do that. He will do that. So once he has taken it and he will go to your garden, assuming you have a garden or if you have got couple of plants also, he will take the best flowers that have come in the day. Every day morning you will be very happy to see the flowers, budding flowers in your garden. Even if you have one or two plants, that gives you a great sort of pride. Look, I have done, it has come. He will say, no, let me pluck it, because I have to offer it to the Gopala Krishna. So you will also say, after all, the God has to be given the best, why can't he take it? So you let him give it. So he will take the flowers. So once you are preparing something in the kitchen, he will just peep around. Look, wait. First it has to be offered to the Gopala Krishna. First you make something for Gopala Krishna and then let us offer it to him. Then you will see, after all, it is good, we don't do it, that bhikshu has come or the sannyasi has come, let him do that. So you will first prepare that and give it to him. Likewise, slowly when he takes over your everyday life, then you understand, you find, because everything is his, he has become part of you. So first you will take only God, let me be good and other things. If I get a promotion, it is yours. If I don't get a promotion, the blame is also yours. You say all those things. But slowly, once every experience you associate with the God, He pervades your entire day-to-day existence. That is really something called Brahman. So this entire worship, the Ishtadevata and all, they are becoming a means to finally take you through the entire experience. That is easy. That is possible for us. Once we follow once you make God as a part of your life in everyday experience, then you will really get through what is that Brahman or what is that experience you are going through. The rest of it, when we talk about, the esoteric concept, the absolute concept, like Brahman is, it can't be understood by body, mind and intellect. It can only be through intuition, and that too, it will be only some momentary things. All those things will be talked about. It's a jnana. But that jnana, when it is mixed, jnana mishra bhakti, once it comes, the bhakti is possible for all of us in practical life. Once that comes about it, that is going to give us the entire Upanishadic knowledge. That is how we are going to, further we will be able to progress in our life and be what we call, the unagitated state of mind, the sthita prajna. You will say, anything comes, you have left it to the God, let him do. Assuming, you are not able to do anything. Today you have planned 100 different things. Normally we plan 100 different things which we can't do, so that at least 10% can be done. Even when the 10% when we are not able to do, Don't bother, he is there, because let him also part of it, we are part of it, let him also take the burden, let him also, he will guide us. That is why once you have any question in your mind, he is the one finally, by the grace of the God, gives you the answers also. The answer also comes from him. He is the only person who gives you the questions as well as the answers once you make him a part of your everyday life. This is, this Bhakti Marga is the one, which has to be, because the Upanishad, when we talk about it continuously, it will all appear to be some sort of absolute concept. Okay, this is what is being said, let us know that. But how to bring it into our life? Because the Upanishadic knowledge, the effect of entire Upanishadic knowledge, we will have to bring about a change in your life. Change in your life is nothing but change in your thoughts, attitude. Once you have a change in your thoughts and attitudes, what you will be doing is, you will not think anything, you are suffering alone. That will not happen. And you are having the happiness alone. You will be sharing it with everyone. If no one is there, at least you have got shared with the God. You have made him a part of it. If you have a problem, he is going to be a part of it. He is also going to help you doing that. Therefore, what this will give you is, once you have this concept, what you will be thinking, what you will be acting, and how you will be behaving in this world will be totally different. As long as you are not making him a part of your life, you will always consider, yes, I have been doing, I have been suffering, I have been following, and I have been put into problem. All those I-ness will go up. When they say Ahankara will go up, don't be, he is always there with you, he is enabling you. Whatever you are experiencing, he is always there. When you are sleeping also, he is there with you. So when he is there with you, he will also take care of. So never bother about it. You have got about assuming, I was not able to complete a particular task. I was not able to complete a couple of Upanishads. Sometimes I used to wonder, when how am I to do it? And then I think, let me leave it to the God. He will show me the way. Leave it at that. Once you leave it, that is a wonderful way of life. And in fact, if you have seen lot of people who have achieved great things, be it profession, business and all of them had this attitude. Without this attitude, no one can do. He may be a Christian, he may be taking as Jesus, or he may be a Zoroastrian, he may be taking as the Zoroastrian, that God, Ahimima, he will take it as lad. And likewise, if he is a Jew, he will say it's a Jew, because that Old Testament is there and the God is going to help him, God is going to be with him, and he is going to show him the way for redemption. That is how they will take it. That allows you to move forward without bothering about the past, projecting yourself into the future. See, once you project into the future, the biggest problem is all negative thoughts will come, because your mind is now always clouded with all negative happenings all over the world. So when you are thinking about if it happens, what happens? Nothing will I say. If it happens, there is a way out. Because 9 months before, we never thought, vaccine will come so fast. So it has come. And now vaccine, whenever turn will come, this is what we are saying. But those whose turn has already come, should I take it now? Let me wait and watch how others react and then let me take it. Like this, it goes on. But when something happens to you, when your turn comes or when you have to sort of face any of the situations, leave it to the God. Nothing will happen. See, nothing, astrology and other things are the sciences, perfect sciences. But they taking that science to predicate your life into the future or retract your life into the past. Either way, it is going to give all the seeds for negative thoughts. So once you have made him like a positive component, you are sort of a partner in your life, in everyday experience, that is the seed. Once you sow the seed, the outcome, the harvest will be bliss. And once you have the bhakti, you have got no business to be unhappy in front of him, because he is never unhappy. So when he is not unhappy in your presence, you don't have any business to be unhappy in his presence, once you have made him a part of it. That is how it is. Happiness is the way of life. You cannot ever be into sort of a distress. This is exactly the concept. It's a concept of Bhakti Yoga which has been described in Gita and other places and also. But very often the mantras are explained. Underlying thought, how it has to be brought into practical life, is not quite often explained. That is how I just took the opportunity to do. This particular episode, where we have come to this third kanda, we have seen there was a fight between to recap, there was a fight between the Devas and Asuras. like two cricket teams, going for that. The opening batsman was Agni. Agni was sent because when they were there, and they thought, they have only got the victory, whereas the victory was obtained by the Paramatman. He is inside you. He has given the skill. And when we are telling he is part of you, he was also part of the Devas. Without Deva being part, they alone could not have got the victory. If I have got some happiness, it is because of the God. He is part of me. When I am having distress, he is also part of it. I am sure, he is going to help me out. That is how, he is part of it. He is not going to leave me alone. And that thought is making me go further into this world. So once you have the Bhava, and that is what it is. But Devas, though he was there, though he was part of them, though he got the victory, they thought they have got the victory. Brahmaha Devebhyam Vijikya. He got the victory for them. Tasyaha Brahmane Vijaye Deva Amihanta. So once they got that, they thought the entire victory is ours, though he is part of them, and the entire glory of the victory is also there. They were thinking like Aishanta. So Asmakam Evayam Vijayo, Asmakam Evayam Mahimeti. Asmakam Evayam, the entire victory is only ours. Evayam in the sense no one else can claim for that when the God is part of it. This is exactly the bhava that has been brought. Once God is part of us, we cannot claim anything as mine. Even if I have done something great, it is without him I could not have done. But even when I am in deep down, in distress, he is the one who is going to bring me up from down deep from the leaves. He is going to bring me up to the ground. It is also going to be done by him. Once you have that, you understand. This is exactly the concept. The underlying concept of the entire narrative is this. Mahimete, tat esham vijagyo ebyo, because he started, then he started pratur babu. Because when he started, all these fellows are so sort of the ahankara they have. So in order to enable them to understand, not to teach them a lesson, God never have to teach us a lesson. He is not a teacher. He wants you to learn from your experience. Your experience is a guru. He is enabling you to learn from your experience. And he is always by your side to enable you. And he has given the grace. That is how we are able to look inward and we can learn the Upanishad or get the thoughts into this. Assuming if we had same knowledge, it's about 20-25 years before, you just see how blissful the life would have been. Because we have heard and we have gone through so many ups and downs in the life. With this, we would have still been emboldened to face the world, and we would have also excelled in everything, whatever we have taken up. We would not have bothered because it's only onward movement. So that would have taken it. Tanna Vijayanta Kimidam Yakshamidi, because he came is in the form of Yaksha. When he came in the form of Yaksha, the underlying, because Bhratur Bahu, based on whatever has been said, he came along with the paraphernalia just to show he is not leaving anyone alone. The Paramatman, when he comes, he comes in the entire family. The world is whole family. Vasudeva Kudumbakam, the entire world is a family. The universe is a Kudumbakam. So he is always with anyone. When he has come with the paraphernalia, all this Vayu, Sesha, Brahma, Rudra and all their spouses here, but they are not visible. He only came as Eksham. See, Eksham, we said, Eksham is such an exalted sort of a figurative Rupam. Devas, they know all the Rupams, but they have not experienced the Yaksha Rupam. Yaksha is so wonderfully elegant, the effulgent and the most handsomest, and Yakshinis are the most prettiest and the most graceful, elegant, the beings. The Yaksha is sort of celebrated in the Vedas. Yaksha is celebrated in the Sanskrit literature also. So just to give, because sort of just small bit of how it has been dealt in Sanskrit literature. It has been dealt beautifully. In fact, Yaksha is a sort of a hero of one great classic written by Kalidasa. It is worthwhile getting to the beauty of the Sanskrit and the beauty of how Kalidasa has used this concept. The story is like that. It is a Meghadutam. All of you must have heard this great classic called Meghadutam. Meghadutam is a cloud messenger. The cloud is being sent as a messenger. The cloud can never be a messenger because cloud is a component of water, vapor, heat and wind. It takes It normally, during the rainy season only you will see the cloud. Parjanya, it goes everywhere and all. It has got a small brief background, because this Kalidasa has taken this Yaksha story. See, this Yaksha, he has not named him. Who is this Yaksha? He is Kaschit Yaksha, some Yaksha, once, someone. He has given it beautifully. And we will read, one stanza of Meghadutam also. The background of the story is, Kubera is the master of Yaksha. Kubera is the king of Yaksha. And Kubera is, all we know, he is the one, who is keeping the treasure of the world. When we say Rajadi Rajaya Prasanya Sagine, but finally say what we say? Kuberaya Maharajayate Namaha. When we say, he is the one finally being invoked. Even when you do the Arati, because Kubera is so important. Without him, even the gods need Kubera, for the entire treasure. So that Kubera, he is living in upper Himalayan regions near Manasarovar. And the entire is palatial, the mansion is being decorated with diamond festoons and golden doors, all silver, all platinum, whatever material, precious material. And even his fountain was full of diamond, and it is being in between, there was an emerald pillar with the beautiful figurines and all. So they have described so beautifully in that. In that, he is living. And he has assigned the duty to all the Yakshas working under him. So this one particular Yaksha, his job was every day morning, he has to pick up 1008 lotus with the stem of a same size. And same, but it will have some sort of a grains, the nerve type of, every lotus, if you see, it will have the natural refulgent, effulgent coming in this pinkish form. It has to be in that, and perfectly, it is being, because in our Vedas and all, if you see, Samitu, they say, Samitu is by which, we put it into the small dried up logs, we put into the yajna. For that also, there is a calculation is there. Everything is, you will have to have 21 Samitu when you have for particular yaga. The 21 Samitu, I think again it has got explanation given by great acharyas like Raghavendra Swami and all. So we have got 10 fingers in the hand and 10 fingers in our legs, 20. Mind, 21. So we are offering everything to Sharanagati. When you are doing it in this, you offer everything with that particular mantra and do it. Likewise, for this Kubera, every day he does a puja, exactly in the early morning, just about sun was to rise, before that he is there. So he has assigned this Yaksha to bring, he has to bring 1008 same size, same effulgent lotus from the pond, and it has to be delivered at his place. And this Yaksha every day he used to do, and that was his job he was doing. One day what happened, he was newly married. So Yaksha and Yakshini is supposed to be the concept of the highest, like Adam and Eve, whatever you can call, in the Indian mythology, in the Yaksha and Yakshini is the ultimate. So he was little, he couldn't do it so properly and all, he was little late. And he collected it, and there also I think, because maybe one or two flowers, are of not the same size, out of the 1008, he has left it. But the dereliction of duty is not tolerated by Kubera. Kubera doesn't do it. And he asked him, you get away from that place for 1 year. A newly married person, he has been Yaksha, he has been asked to go to 1 year away on hibernation. You go, and after 1 year you have to come. This is exactly the story. He has been away from his wife, newly wedded wife. He is away. He has gone to a place. It is said to be in Chitrakoot. But Ramgiri, they say, that place. He has gone there. So then, being a newlywed, he is pining, after all, the newlywed, what to do, because he is. So he has got nothing. He has to do some sort of a tapas there. He is, that is his order. He is for his dereliction of duty. So there is no mobile or there is no other communications. Of course, Yakshas can send the vibration. So he finds, what to do. There is not even a leaf you can write it and send it to something and all. So he sees the passing crowd. It was a rainy season, monsoon. The clouds were just forming. They were in different colors. The colors were amber, it was light blue, crimson red. It was changing, depending upon the sun. And the sun was clouded by a lot of clouds. This one particular cloud, he thought it could be my messenger. He sensed his entire pining, how he has been keeping himself. He couldn't keep away from his newly wedded wife. He sends the message to the crowd. That is this entire classic that is it. Uttara Mega and Purva Mega. And Purva Mega is first part, Uttara Mega is the second part, the entire thing. It has got about 120 stanzas of wonderful, exquisite verses. I think nowhere else in the world you cannot find. It has been sort of enamored. Every great poet in the world has been enamored by Kalidasa's, this entire conceptual. And it is a natural. See, all these poets, Kalidasa, Maga, Danda, and all those people, they have not synthesized poetry. It is not their emotions recollected in tranquility. It is by being, they are spiritual. When you see anything mega, they become mega, they're part of it. When you see, they become the sap of a tree, and they become a sparkle of a dew on a leaf, and they become the glistening, the stream running through the mountains. And likewise, they even become a small pebble, which is going right to it goes like that. They become part of it. That is spirituality. When you become part of it, you lose your being and you become part of it, and that is how these poetries have come. And it has been written in a chandas called Mandakrata. Mandakrata, that is one chandas in Sanskrit. It is like a python. Python, it fully takes its meal. It's not able to move. It is just slithering through the rustle leaves on the mountain, and it's just able to move just about it. And it is like a lazy stream which doesn't have too much of a water to flow, but whatever water flows, it just finds a way to flow little by little, little by little. This Mandakrata is like that. And it has also got, a lot of sort of a grammatical rules are also there. Every word will have to be every sentence will have to be of 17 syllables. And 4 sentences of 17 syllables. That is how, he has written that. That is the beauty of this Sanskrit. Because this I brought it, because the Yaksha is so finely dealt by Kalidasa. This is, and one professor of Sanskrit of the University of Bombay, Dr. Gauri Mahulkar, said, if any Indian has not heard or understood or at least listened to what is Meghadutam or Shakuntalam, Abhinava Shakuntalam, I think he has missed this life. So this is how, in fact, once I heard her lecture about a year before, though I knew about it, she was so excited. You will have to read this literature, at least in a translation you should read. That's what she was telling. So this particular, with all this build up, the Kalidasa, the first stanza, because in all the work we do, whether it is a religious or literary work, we first bring about the invocation of the God. That is our tradition. The invocation of the God has to be the first Mangalacharanam, we say. Without Mangalacharanam, none of our Acharyas, none of our great poets have written. In this particular Meghadutam, there was no Mangalacharanam. So, all it's been discussed how, because Mangalacharanam is not done, and how Kalidasa could write, because he is great, one of the greatest poet. In fact, one English poet has said, if there is one poet who can be called as a world poet, it is Kalidasa. So, he is so beautiful writings. So, in this first, then once we read the first verse, we will understand how this Mangalacharanam has effortlessly incorporated into this by great Kalidasa. The first mantra reads like, you can just listen to the words. The words itself is so wonderful. Kaschit kanta viraha guruna. Kaschit kanta viraha guruna. Kaschit, someone, kanta, because he is suffering from viraha guruna, newlywed. So he is pining, he is a newlywed for his wife. Swadikara pramattaha. See, he has dereliction of the duty, but he doesn't have any sort of a power now. When he was working under Kubera, he had a power, because he could command people to get the leave, all the lotus, and he will see which one is correct, and then he will go and take it. He doesn't have any own power for him to manage himself. Swadikara pramattaha, he doesn't have. Shapena astangamita mahima. Because of the dereliction of the duty, this Kubera has asked him to be away for 1 year. That is a shapa. Shapa is not something he has given him. For 1 year he will have to be in hibernation. They send him. Astanga mahima, because he is without anything and he has lost all the sort of effulgence and all. When he was working there, he used to be fully dressed and go, he give commands and all those things. Nothing. Astanga mahima, he has got no one to command now. He is alone. Varshabhogyena Bhartu. For 1 year he has to be away. Varshabhogyena Bhartu. So 1 year he has to pass. When you are away from a beloved, and 1 day is like 1 year, he has to pass 1 year. So that is how you bring about the proportion of it. Varshabhogyena Bhartu. Yascha Chakra Janakatanaya. Yascha Chakra. This Yascha, the Kaschit, when he is saying this Yascha, he was, in this, he was in the chakra, he is thinking about himself and what to do and all. Janakatanaya Snana Punyada Keshu. So there is a river which is going, it is a sort of Narmada, and Narmada, that stream goes then. It Amarkantak, it comes through Chitrakoot and it goes into Madhya Pradesh, Jabalpur and all, it goes finally, it gets merged and all. That Narmada, he says, Janakatanaya Snana Punyada Keshu. In Chitrakoot, in that river, in that place, Sita has taken bath when Rama and Sita were there in Vanavasa. Janakatanaya Snana Punyada Keshu. Because since she has taken the bath, it has become a very sacred. That is how we brought the Mangalacharanam there. There is no separate Mangalacharanam. Janakatanaya Snana Punyada Keshu. Snigna Chaya Tharushu Vasati. Snigna Chaya. Snigna Chaya in the sense, when the Taru, when great trees are there, all big trees are there, that shadow which falls on, it is not black, it is not blue, it is a particular color that is called Snigdavarna. Even Krishna is called Snigdavarna, even Lakshmi is called Snigdavarna. See, if you see in the Sri Suktam also, Snigdavarna is always being given, attributed to Lakshmi. See, that Varna is, it's not black, it's a Neelameka Syamala, the Syamala Lipa they say, it is that type of one. So when the shadows of tree falls on the ground in the Ramagiri, it is Snigna Varna. Under that, he is pining. Vasati Rama Giriyasra Asrameshu. So Ramagiri Yasya Asrameshu, that ashram where Rama has stayed, and the river where Sita has taken bath and it has become sacred. So with this Mangalacharanam, he says this Yaksha who has been sent for. Are you not able to hear? 1 minute. I am using the laptop for the first time. Is it okay? Oh, that is the only way. Let me recite the wonderful first verse of Meghadutam. Kaschit Kanta Viraha Guruna Swadhikara Pramattaha Shapena Astanga Mahima Astangamita Mahima Varshabhogena Bhart Yascha Chakra Janakatanaya Stana Punyodakeshu Snigdha Chaya Tarushu Vasati Ramagiri Asrameshu. It's a beautiful verse with full 4 verses of 17 syllables in Mandakrata. Such a wonderful one. It has made him the world poet of the universe, as acknowledged by the best poets of the world. And Abhinava Shakuntalam also equally so great a scripture, so great a work of Kalidasa. When we get an opportunity, we can certainly try to go. So in the meanwhile, as we have seen in this particular Yaksha, as we have seen, this Yaksha is such a exalted and the resplendent, and one has to, the commanding respect from everyone. In front of Yaksha, all these devas, they totally surrendered them. They just couldn't, their mind was not inactive, because the one who is activating the mind was in their presence. So the mind was not working. Whatever they had was only their ego, ahankara. When Agni went in front of it, when someone comes to your house and rings the bell and you open the door, you will just normally ask, who are you? Instead, the other person asks, who are you? This is what is happening. The visitor comes and asks the owner, who are you? It is the same thing. It is the same Paramatma who has been inside all this Deva and got these victories. And he got everything for them. And when they have struggled, he was with them. But they were little aware of it. And they were asking, and they were trying to tell, whatever their glory was. Totally their mind has been stilled into silence in front of the Yaksha. That is the power of the. So then Agni, when he tried to, Agni is supposed to be representing the Karmendriyas. Vachamitam, because when we have said Keneshitam Patiti Preshitam Manaha, Vachamitam. When he said that when the Vacha itself, because when it is coming out, Karmendriya, when it is giving the effulgence to the throat, linguistic abilities from the mind, as well as the tongue is moving in the right direction to express the word that the other person can understand. That is the power, the entire thing is being done by the enlivening power within us. Tongue is also the Jnanendriya. Tongue is the one is having taste buds. All the rasana, every rasa is being tasted by this. Jnanendriya is the one which gives the feel, sparsha, rasna, as well as it also gives whatever you feel through your Jnanendriyas. So when Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, both of them will not be able to recognize the power. Agni went near the Yaksha, but still could not understand who the Yaksha was. Agni is Vagdevata, the presiding deity for speech. The Taittiriya Upanishad says, words go very near Brahman, but not obtaining Brahman, not being able to express Brahman. They will all come back. Thus Agni, who writes up everything, went very near the Yaksha in order to ask. But before Agni could speak, the Yaksha asked. That is how he couldn't understand. This is exactly the Taittiriya Upanishad says. Yato vacha nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Having gone near, you will not be able to find out. That is exactly has happened in front of that wonderful Yaksha with the sweet words. Then the Devas approached Vayu. Ata Vayu abruvan Vaya Vedad Vijanihi Kime Tat Yakshamiti Tadeti. Vayu said, yes, Tadastu, I will do it. Ata Vayum Abravan. They told Vayu, they said, Vayave Tvajanihi Kimetat Yakshamiti. Who is this Yaksha? Please find out. Agni has failed. The first batsman has failed. The number 2 batsman has been sent. And well, let's see whether he scores or whether they are all scoring like our Indian team in Adelaide, the 36 runs what they scored. Then Vayu. Vayu is again a creature, he is the Devata who is different from others. Vayu has got a specific status in the Devatas. As we have seen in the first mantra, Om Keneshitam Patati Preshitam Manaha Kena Prana Pratama Praiti Yuktaha. Kena Pranaha Pratamaha Praiti Yuktaha. He is the first among all the Devatas. If Prana is not there, neither your eyes will function, nor the ears will function, not your karmendriyas will function, nothing will function. The prana is going on. Prana is the ayatanam in which we are all living. When the child is in the womb of a mother, it is in the ayatanam of mother. It gets all the energy, it gets all the senses, it gets all the knowledge from mother. Till then it is totally protected. It doesn't have anything to. Nowadays the scanning has come. If a mother listens to some wonderful music, child also enjoys in the womb. This has been proven. We are able to see in the scanning. If mother gets a pain, the child also feels that. So it is integral part of the mother. When finally the child is born, it comes to the world, what the doctors say, immediately they want to see that whether the child cries or not. If it doesn't cry immediately, they hold the child upside down and splash a cold water. And once it is splashed, the child started crying. So once it cries is heard by all others, then the new jiva has come into the being in this world. Till then it was part of the mother's jiva. Once it comes out, it becomes an independent jiva capable of experiencing the world itself. That is the ayatanam. It has come into the new ayatanam. Now, that is how, because now we will have to remember Kabir Das. Kabir Das, when he said, Jab hum paida hue, hum roye log hase. When I started crying, the entire people around, they were all joyful. They want to see the first cry of the baby. The first prana which comes into being. Pratama Pretyuktaha. The first prana is getting into being, the deha. And then it started giving, energizing all the organs to experience this. And finally, when this prana also, the Ida, Pingala and Sushmana Nadi, they all get energized. The prana has got 5 aspects of it. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana. So all the 5 aspects of the prana is guiding us entire, the body, mind. And that is why the prana itself is called Mukhya Prana. Mukhya Prana is totally, he is simply doing the service to the God, and he is doing whatever is ordained, as we have seen in Ishavasya Upanishad, mantra number 50. Yasavasau sohamasmi, yasavasau sohamasmi, asau, asmi, because he is inside the Bhagavan, the Paramatma is inside the prana, and he is enabling the prana to give the life to all the beings. But he is first among, even though the Mukhya Prana is so important, but he does only the job as ordained by the Brahman. And he does, whenever we submit all our offerings, all our duties as offering to the God, it is Matarishva, the Mukhya Prana, who takes it to the God and makes it bondage free. There is no attachment in that. We don't get any power, anything out of that karma which we do it sincerely and submit to the God. That is the purpose. He is the first son of the God. He is the first beget of the God. And he does whatever has been ordained by the God. Therefore, he doesn't have any ahankara. The ahankara comes because this, as we have seen, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Apana is the one which is making the air to circulate. Breathing and respirating, going and incoming and outgoing air. How the lungs are processing the air and taking the oxygen out, and the remaining air is sent out. The same process. Then Vyana is Vyapta. It's going through the entire body, entire circulation, entire nervous system. They are all energized. And then Udana is the entire air, the energy coming from Muladhara Chakra to Ajna Chakra, through all other chakras. That is the purpose, that Kundalini that is being risen. That is, and Samana is the one which synchronizes all the pranas and makes it into an effulgent working system by which the human being is able to give out their personality as they are into this. So that is how the Mukhya Prana is so important. The Mukhya Prana as such, he is never supposed to be, he was never capable of having ahankara, because he does only whatever has been ordained by the God, and whatever the jivas like us submitted, he takes it to the God to have it purified and give us the. At the other vayus, like there are also pravaha vayu, nasika vayu. Nasika vayu is the air which we are breathing through one nostril and sends out another one. That is nasika vayu. In this particular case, it is rather determined, that is nasika vayu who has been the one which is participating in the in the process of finding out who is this yaksha. Tad abhyadravat tam abhyavadat ko asiti. Like Agni was asked, yaksha also asked. He rushed towards yaksha just to find out. Agni couldn't find out. I will certainly manage. I am Vayu. I am capable of blowing the entire, all other things in this world into the storms, hurricanes. I can just take them out of the roots. What is not possible for me, I will try to find out who is this yaksha. He goes hastening to find out who is this yaksha. Yaksha very sweetly, very elegantly, very magnetic voice is asking, Tam abhyavadat. He is asking, yaksha is asking, abhyavadat, ko asiti, who are you? Then Vayu, like Agni, instead of finding out, okay, I will tell you whoever I am, before that, can you kindly tell us who are you? He also forgot to ask. He said, Vayurva. Vayu is good. Vayurva is, I am the only Vayu. The one who is, because known by everyone as the power, which can blow the world out of proportion anywhere in all the universe. I am in the cosmos, I am in the jivas. So I am that. Aham asmit iti. Abravint. See, he says Abravint. And then he said Matarishva. Abravint Matarishva. Aham asmi itya. Abravint Matarishva. Matarishva is the entire air, entire Vayumandala in the cosmos, pervading all the universe and other things. That is the Matarishva. Matarishva is so exalted soul, an exalted being. He is primordial power next only to the Paramatma Brahman. Va aham asmiti. He said, I am that one, Matarishva. Va aham, it is me. Asmi iti. Here I am in front of you. So instead of finding out yaksha, this is what is happening to the Nasika Vayu. So then, tasmin twain kim viryam iti yakshanas. Tasmin. If it is so powerful, you great. Twain, your great highness, kim viryam iti. What is the great thing you can do? You are so great. You are capable of doing so many things. What you can do? Kim viryam iti Idam, api idam. Suppose if I have to, in case of any necessity, api yadyapi, api idam, sarvam adadiya yaditam. Sarvam adadiya. I can lift, I can take it out of the roots. Yat idam. Prithivya mandayat. Thus, Yaksha asked, what is the strength in you? Why is it I can lift all this which is upon this earth? Why you answered the word api means, if there is an occasion for that, for lifting any, within my own strength, I can lift anything, take anything that is here on the earth and get into space. Vayu also the god of strength. He has different forms of hurricane, whirlwind and so on. When he replied das, the Yaksha responded as before. Tasmai trinam nidadeva nidadav tasmai trinam nidadav. He placed a small blade of grass. Yetat Adastva, lift it. Adatva iti tat upapriya. Then after listening to that, he should have said, why are you asking me to do this trinam? Trinam is a trinam, very small one. I can lift the entire Prithvi. He also didn't go about it. He thought, he is so powerful. He has to show it. The ego prevented him. The pride prevented him from being humble. He should have refused. What is this small thing? I don't want to do that. I have come here to know you, and that is my purpose. I would just request you to kindly let me know. That he couldn't say. Instead, he went upapraying. He hastened fast. He wanted to do before he could imagine the entire trinam is lifted and thrown somewhere, where it can't be found. Upapraya sarvajavena, with all the might and force at his command. Tat Sasaka was not able to. Tat na Sasaka adatum. He was not able to lift. He failed miserably. He tataha, what to do? Eva itself, nivavrate, retreated back. Asakam, he was not able to find out who is this Yaksha is. Na etat na asakam. He retreated back. Vijanatam, you will not be able to find out. Na vijanitam yat. Etat yat yaksham, celestial being, the Yaksha. He was just wondering what is this happening to the number 2 batsman also. The Yaksha placed the same blade of grass in front of a Vayu, lift this blade. Vayu approached that, he couldn't lift that blade. Vayu retreated from there and said to the Devas, I couldn't find out what the Yaksha is. He also didn't say how he miserably failed to lift even a blade of grass. That shows the pride is preventing from them to have that intellectual honesty. Without that intellectual honesty, you will not be able to do the Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana. You are not able to, in spite of the fact they are all evolved soul, even that moment of pride, everything is taken off. You are made to think like nothing, because all your powers are gone. It is His grace which has given you all the power. So once it is done, then what He has retreated, then what the Devas then asked, Ataha Indram Abruvan. So then they talked to Indran, they addressed Indran Magavan. Magavan is Indra, like Bhagavan is Paramatma, Brahman. The Magavan is Indra. Indra is called Magavan, meaning the one who deserves worship, one who has defeated all the Asuras. He is the presiding deity of the hands, the strength. Indra, thinking that he would succeed confidently, he also approached. Once it has been requested by the Devas, Bhagavan, he is the captain now. All the batsmen have failed, now captain is going. Magavan, Eto Vijanihi, why don't you find out? Kimedat Yakshamiti, who is this Yaksham? Tadeti, he said yes. Okay, Tadeti, Tatastu, I will find out. Tadabhyadravat, Tasmit, Atinirodhate, that we will see what is it that. Because now the captain has approached. Now all the batsmen has failed. They couldn't do anything. Now they requested the captain, you please go and find out what is this. Now Indra goes to find out who is this Yaksha. Indra is supposed to be the god of the mind. As we have seen, Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas, they can function with the help of enlivening power who is giving the strength to. Without enlivening power, the internal power, they are nothing. So the entire enlivening power is being rooted through the mind. The mind tells what to do. It processes whatever is being seen, heard and told, and what you are doing with all Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas, it goes to the mind. Mind processes it. Intellect finds out, discriminates, finds out what it is, and then gives the information back to act. The mind directs, then you do this. This is what is happening. The mind is also being enlivened by Paraman.
So if the mind is that one, he has to do it. Now he is the one, mind and intellect. They are, the mind is, Indra is supposed to be the god of the hands and the mind also. And it is also intellect. Intellect is Parvati, Sarpuni, and all those devatas, Bharati, they are the devatas of intellect. And they are the one finally enabling them to act. And if Brahman has enabled them and he has given them enough power to do that, and that is why it has come about. But when we see, because it will always be wondering, on one side, we are telling, because body, mind, and intellect cannot understand. On the other hand, through the body, mind, and intellect, only through the mind, only through the Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana, you see, because you will have to read the scriptures, you will have to, and you have to recite it. And by reciting it, you will have to internalize it. It's only the mind that will enable you to internalize it. Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana, when you will have to do the body, mind, and intellect to get the knowledge. But once you have got the knowledge, how do we say that body, mind, and intellect cannot understand or realize the Brahman? On one hand, you say you have to take the knowledge only through this, and finally they can't, what you understand through body, mind, and intellect cannot be Brahman. That's what we have seen, Kanda number 2. And that too, in this world having come, the very purpose is to know the Brahman. If we don't know the Brahman, that is the biggest Mahati Vinashti. That's what we have seen. So this paradox, how is it to be addressed? On one hand, we have to do that. On the other hand, what we understand through body, mind, and it is like this. It is like a pole vault. All the scriptural study, jnana, Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana, they are like a pole. They enable you to lift your thought out of lowest stress where you have gone into. It lifts up to the wonderful height. It takes us there. It is like a pole vault. Once you have gone there, you have to cross the bar. When you have to cross the bar, you will have to leave the pole and then cross the bar. So at that point of time, you will have to definitely leave the body, mind, and intellect. Afterwards, it's not necessary. Once you have understood, once you have got the finest, the ultimate realization that all the experiences, all these things that is offered by this universe, in the periphery of the universe, is of no meaning to you. You have gone to the core. Once you have gone to the core, you don't need any longer the help of all these things. You can live in this world still as a sthita prajna. Nothing is going to be attached. You are going to take everything as it is. You are not going to get attached to anything, nor you are going to detest anything. Now that captain has come, let us see how he is going and finding out whether he is able to find out the yaksha, and then what is the paradox it offers, and how the paradox is solved, whether in this kanda, next kanda. With this, I will try to conclude today's session. If you have any comments, queries, or clarification, you can certainly ask. Yes, Kalidasa is so wonderful. Kalidasa's Meghadutam, Abhinava Shakuntalam are the two masterpieces which every Indian should read once. If we don't read it, we cannot call ourselves. At least it has to be read by everyone in the world. That's what the great poets of the world have said. So that is the great. Once you get into Kalidasa, he is like a magnet. It attracts you. You will dwell deep into that. You will not be able to come out of it. He is like, they are all spiritual beings. They become part of whatever. They can describe a dew drop. Dew drop, what we will discuss. It is a dew and it's a drop. It looks like a water, that's all. But they become the dew themselves. Once they become what the vastu is, what the object is, they will describe it in so beautiful sentences or so beautiful expressions which cannot be matched by anyone. Have that spirituality of being what you are looking at, what is the object you are focusing on. That is the greatness of a poet. All our poets in Sanskrit, whether it is Kalidasa, Magar, all other poets, Dandi and Harshavardhana, all of them, all other, so many poets, innumerable poets who contributed to the great literary firmament of the Sanskrit seem to be believed. Let's all hope, we will also get the opportunity to enjoy the pieces of it in this time, in this world, maybe during the course of our discussion. Thank you very much. With this, I will try to conclude. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. Krishna Arpanamastu.